Hey everybody, it's your girl T, and welcome to the Mag Queens Presents. We're going to be talking about season 8, episode 5, The Bells, and what an episode it was. I saw a lot of you actually enjoyed it, so this is going to be an entertaining stream. This stream, we're going to do it a little differently to get you guys more involved while you're watching. But before we get into all of that, I got to introduce my ladies. So first, let me just introduce my girl, Beauty Queen. Let them know who you are.
What's good, everyone? This is Manara here. I'm so glad to be here with my girls and special guest, LMR. I'm ready to discuss this episode. Burn them all. Who wants some fried chicken?
She said, "Who wants chicken?" Terrible. And of course, my other girl who I always have fun with, my girl AK. Introduce yourself.
What's good, folks? I am this evening Lord Commander Hefner, sipping the King of the North ale, and it's delicious. This episode wasn't as delicious as this brew is, but yeah, we're gonna get into it. Happy to be here with the folks, all you guys in the chat, and my ladies and LMR. So let's go.
Yeah, B, I'm not sure what's going on. She'll probably either join the chat later. But let's introduce our special guest, LMR. This is my girl. I met her at con, had a blast with her, and she's with me. And she went to see some weird shit. She wanted to be broken, all of that good stuff. Introduce yourself, LMR.
Oh my gosh. It's such a pleasure to be here. Oh my goodness. And yes, I miss you already. I feel like I don't want the con to end. It was like I didn't even give you a hug goodbye. I feel like ghost. Like what the fuck? Like it's like okay, where is she? Like I didn't give her a hug. There are a couple people I forgot to hug because I didn't realize the thing is ending. I'm like, shit. I hope she goes to Nashville so I can give her a hug back. So, but awesome to be here. But since we're sharing what we're drinking today, I can actually have a drink, and I'm finishing this baby up. And there's only a little bit on the bottom. Hopefully, I won't have to have a refill. Yeah. It's been an awesome episode, so I don't foresee any refills needed. So thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. I am supposed to knight somebody real quick. But you know what? Before I even do that, I just want to let everyone know. I know that this season has divided us as a community where people either love the season or they hate it. And either way, let's just respect each other, okay? It is okay if you love this episode and everything that has to do with it. And it is okay if you think this shit is trash, okay? This is an open space to just be cool. As long as we respect each other, we're good to go. So let's start off with I'm curious to what you guys even rated this episode. Let's start off with AK.
I don't even know if I can rate this episode, man.
You can try though.
I guess I'll go with like a 5.5 maybe.
Okay. It means you still enjoyed it.
I mean, there were still good parts, some of the fighting was cool and a whole lot of it wasn't. But yeah, we'll get into that.
And LMR, what did you think about this episode? What did you rate it?
I actually keep rating it as 9. I think I rated it as a 10 before, but that was just because my hype, was on so hard, and I'm thinking, wait, I'm gonna just chill, girl. I'm gonna rate it 9.
Hyping
I'm
hard.
loving it. Yeah, I'm hyping hard. I'm giving it a 9 after like a couple days of rest and rewatches. So yeah, I'm loving it.
That's what's up. And Beauty Queen, what did you rate this episode?
I gave it a 9.5.
Okay, and what was like your favorite part? I'm curious.
I don't have one. I loved everything. I loved every. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be over the top with it, but
Be over the top. This is a safe space.
I just loved everything. I loved everything. If there's something that I didn't like, which made me give it a 9.5, was probably The Euron scene, it was kind of like a throwaway scene, but it didn't bother me so much that I hated the episode for it. Like I just I laughed throughout that whole scene. Like, where did you come from? You just like popped out of nowhere. Like, who does that? Euron Greyjoy does.
He did kind of pop out of nowhere. Okay, so let's start. How did this episode even begin? It began with Varys dying. I didn't like the fact that he was so, I guess, blunt and straight to the point out in the open telling John about it, but I get that he was in a moment where he just had to hurry up and get things going, especially with dealing with John because he's trying to save the people in King's Landing. So what did you think about the whole Varys scenes? I'm gonna start off with you, Elamar.
my first thoughts, and I think we discussed a little bit in the pre-stream right now. I was thinking barbecue time. He's gonna burn. Yeah, it threw me off a little bit of barbecue this Saturday coming up. So no rips for me. But seriously, I did love the fact that he was sticking to what he was saying, but there's a way of going about things, and he should have kind of known. Again, I'm loving it. I'm just into the character right now. Like he should have known how to basically sweet talk people, and yeah, I was just surprised by Tyrion and by John. And yeah, but he went out like a boss. I mean, he didn't flinch. He just like stood there and was like, burning. So yeah, good death for him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of saw it coming. He had that look like, look, I'm going to betray Dany. She's not listening to me at all. And so he felt that he had to do what he had to do. AK, what did you think about the whole Varys scene between Dany?
I think Varys should have been better on his game. Excuse me. Like, it's as far as talking to Dany, I think he should have maybe used a different tactic in what he was saying to her, and outright scheming just was dumb because he told her he would not do that. He would actually, sit and list off reasons and maybe this scenario. He didn't end up doing that. He talked maybe once in vagueness and then was scheming with Tyrion. And Tyrion selling him out honestly made sense. I thought that's exactly what was going to happen. Tyrion was going to do it to cover up his own backsliding, and he was going to get Varys killed. So that somewhat took the spotlight off of him in that range. But obviously, we see he was definitely back dealing, and that's probably going to catch up with him before Dany dies. I don't know. We'll see though.
No, it is. I mean, because we'll talk about it later, but he definitely betrayed her. I also I want to know you guys' opinion about the conversation with Tyrion and Dany, him pleading to try to make her not attack the citizens and her not listening. I mean, I guess I'm gonna start off with Beauty Queen because I feel like she has a better understanding of, or a better optimistic understanding of what's going on with Dany. Like, what do you think? What are your opinions on Tyrion and Dany as far as him trying to get her to save the city? Not burn innocent people.
I'm just gonna answer the Varys question first, and then I'll answer that question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Me personally, I think that Varys already knew that his days was numbered already, as from the conversation that he had last episode with Tyrion, because I think they at the end of their conversations, I think they both knew where they stood, and he already made his intentions known about what he planned on doing. And so it wasn't a secret to Tyrion. I don't know. My question is, I wonder if he got any letters off to the Citadel or to anybody else, because he was writing quite a few of them.
I think some got sent off.
Probably. But I think he already knew what his fate was going to be. I think he was just trying to work on borrowed time. which is why when he heard the footsteps, like there was going to be no resistance. There was no resistance for him. He just figured, you know what, my time is up. I've done all that I could do. My time is up.
Yeah, he
So
tried to poison her earlier too.
um, I didn't get that impression, but it's possible. But I didn't get that impression he was trying to poison her. I know that he had that conversation with the little girl,
Yeah,
but that's not what I got from it. But
mhm,
I can see how that might be the thought process.
mhm.
Um, as far as Tyrion, I think Tyrion already knows that Dany was already on a destructive path. And I think he already knew that from the time when they were already up in the north. Um, and so he is just trying to make desperate attempts to kind of try to tame tame her because of because he already knows that the knowledge of John's uh, parentage and the fact that he actually has a claim is really unraveling her, and he's just trying to make sure he minimizes, trying to do damage control, in my opinion. I think that's
Mhm.
what I think that's what it was. I think he was just trying to do a little bit of damage control. So um, that's why he was trying to, make all of these desperate attempts to try to, get her to agree that if they heard the bells, that means that they are surrendering, and there would be no need for her to, you know, exact any more violence than is necessary to take the throne.
Okay.
but I think in his heart, he was just hoping that things wouldn't go bad. But I
Yeah,
think he
because he did
already read
say.
the lips.
Yeah, because he did say when he was dying that he hoped he was wrong. So I agree with you.
Hey,
But
Monero, is it possible for you to turn your mic up a little bit? Folks in chat said that you sound a bit low.
and she was making some good points. But let's I actually want to give a question out, and this is from Sailor Diva. Shout out to her, and she's wondering what we think the rings meant when he took them off. I thought that was kind of curious, like for him to take off the ring. I was trying to see if it was a dragon or if it was some type of symbol on the ring to see if it meant anything, but it to me just came off like it was trying to be dramatic. What do you think, Elamar? Do you think that the rings meant something?
Um, I keep wondering about that. Sorry, I think there's an echo. Is it just me? Just yeah,
Huh?
okay. There was an echo for a second. I was like, I was
Oh, okay.
hearing myself like I can't talk if I can't hear myself. Sorry, people. What you're going through here, listening to me.
It's strange stuff.
Yeah, no. So for him taking those rings off, I was wondering like, is he gonna do something like Melisandre does? Like he took them off and he's gonna poof. I'm taking them off, and he's gonna shrivel up to be like some merman out of water or something for a second. That did not happen. So maybe that was just like it was mentioned, something symbolic. Although there are things that we would hope for to happen, but they never pay out. They're never paid out to us. So again, like a thought was, okay, somebody will see the ring and it's gonna mean something. It probably means nothing. It's just like he's ready. He is accepting his faith, and these were maybe his. Although we've never seen these rings before, so I've never seen him like playing with them or anything. So I don't think it means anything like that. It was just, I think, just a symbolic thing. Okay, what do you do? Some people, when they go to bed, they take off their jewelry because they're done for the night, or when they go take a bath or wash their hands. I see people taking off their rings. I don't do that. It's like a symbolic thing maybe for them. But bigger question that I had, if I can ask it as well about, but maybe you have it after, but I wanted to make sure that I ask it. It was something that I noticed today after a rewatch. Denny never gave him the charges. It's just, I sentence you to death, and I'm thinking, okay, I know that we know what he did. I know what he did. I know that he was scheming. She never said I sentence you to death because you blah 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 did something. was there any proof? Is she being like a tyrant, just sentencing him to death because somebody told her something and he never got a chance to defend himself? But that's a different thing. So as far as the rings, I don't think there's a meaning. It's just like a symbolic thing that he is ready to go and he's accepting his faith, which he looked really cool dying. It was an amazing scene. Yeah, quite pretty and terrible, but he looked good.
Yeah, like it's interesting you brought that up because one thing I thought was interesting about the whole Varys death scene was that usually, well, no, it's no, I guess that's not a southern thing, that's more a northern thing, but I thought it was kind of strange that he didn't get to say like his final words or something, or at least I thought he was going to say final words, so I thought it was interesting that he didn't. AK, what do you think about various rings? Do you think it meant something, or was it just like a dramatic shot that they seen?
I'm not sure that they meant anything. I mean, they were pretty deliberate in showing him doing that. Like some folks were saying in the chat, maybe it was left as payment for the little bird that he was using that we saw there. Or I don't know, maybe, yeah, at the end of the day, when time is up, you take off your rings and that symbolizes you're ready to, go to bed, go take a shower, or whatever. And that's what it was. I don't know. I don't think we'll end up seeing anything come of that, but it would be interesting if it did hold some type of significance to someone. But who that someone is the real question. And what messages did Varys maybe get off and to who before he was brought in? Will there be any consequences for that? I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think some of those letters went off, and then it only takes a few to be sent off before word of mouth and other lords start talking to other lords. And even if Dany was like the pillar of a good hero who can rule and everything, they still would try to go towards the male figure, which is messed up. But in this case, they might have a point. Like, she's kind of crazy. Beauty Queen, what do you think? Do you think the rings meant anything, or do you think they just shot it just for a dramatic scene?
Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure the chat can hear me clearly. Is the chat saying that they can hear me?
Yeah, you guys might just need to turn your volumes up a little bit. We can hear you though.
It's as far up as it's gonna go though.
Yeah,
I can't.
yeah. I'm saying, folks in the chat, if you can, you might, when Monero's on, you might need to turn your volume up just a bit. But I don't know, for everybody else on the panel, I can hear you fine.
All right. So, yeah, I agree with Elamar. I think it's probably just a thing of, it's something that you do. But it did also bring to mind that a lot of in medieval times, when a person of note, like a nobility, a lord or whatever, whenever they're getting ready to be executed, they're usually stripped bare. All of their jewelry are taken off, and they're usually dressed in a certain way. If they are someone of nobility or have a title before they die. So to me, it kind of struck something similar. But I also agree with Elamar. This is just something that is ritually, most people do. And I think also that, like she said, that he was resigned to his fate. He knew he was going to his death. So as an act of just, removing those probably those were his symbols of nobility, that he was a lord or whatnot. He took those off in preparation to go to meet his end. There was no, it's, I guess, a symbolic way of letting go of what he was, because he is now going into an afterlife. So yeah, I agreed with Elamar on that point.
Okay, so let's move to the juicy part when Dany goes fucking crazy. I want to talk about that shit because I thought that it was crazy how she just blew up everyone, and she didn't have to, especially because those people surrendered and bent the knee, and that's her whole thing: bend the knee or I'll burn you. But she's like, fuck it. So before I even say my thing, I want to know someone who enjoyed this or who can speak kindness, I guess, into what Danny was doing. Elamar, you got any kind words?
Well, my kind words would be to give their quick death. No, there's no forgiveness for that. I think I said it in my video. I get her points. She's mad. I mean, she's upset. She's angry. And when I was looking at it, like, yeah, okay, the queen is gonna go for the queen. Now that people surrendered, she's gonna go there, like fly. And I'm thinking, from here to there, she's gonna fly and burn and barbecue her ass. No, she barbecued. She had basically a dessert. She didn't just go for the queen. She went for everybody, and she fucking zigzagged through the whole thing. Like, ouch. No, so she is she is hurting, and I would have. This is what's puzzling me. Normally, when people are very very mad, like really in a moment, they react right away. Like, it would have been more excusable, I guess. More, she would have more excuses. I would be excusing her more if she actually got on a dragon last episode and burned the whole thing down, like right away. In the in the defense of her, like in the heat of the moment, like, I'm angry, I'm gonna do it now. But she had time to brew on it, like, and think and be very calm, and maybe the blood pressure as she was burning, maybe the Targaryen side kicked in, and her excitement of like, ooh, fire gets me all revved up and everything, and that's when all that happened. She burned the entire city around, and she sees people submitting to her, and maybe she thought of them as sheep. Like, I'm not gonna take, like, you mean nothing to me, like, you're sheep, you're submitting to me now, like, go F yourself. Like, I don't care right now. You're gonna burn. I'm gonna create new city without you little, peasants who are kneeling here and kneeling there. So maybe that's kind of an excuse for her for being ticked off with people and how they now are submitting. They should have submitted earlier. Obviously, I don't like her, what she did, but maybe in her mind, she was thinking, they don't deserve my mercy. I'm gonna burn them all. They should have submitted sooner.
That could possibly be the case. I mean, I'm like, who are you to have us submit to you just because you have a dragon? But I could be wrong. AK, what do you think about the whole Danny burning people, burning the innocent people and ignoring the bells? Like, what do you think about the whole situation?
Yeah, the way she came through, in the beginning, eliminating the scorpions and soldiers and whatnots, that was on point. That's exactly what should have happened. But after hearing the bells and turning on the people itself, I'm not cool with that. Not at all, by any means. However, I still don't like this Mad Queen agenda that they've pushed with her, because that's not the character that they've built up over the past 7 seasons. So if Danny is actually going to go mad in the real story, for book canon, I get that. That's fine. She is a Targ. However, Dan and Dave have said previously that Danny is not one of those crazy Targaryens. She's ruthless, yeah, as any ruler would have been, but she's not crazy. So them putting that narrative into everything going down, I thought kind of sucked. I will say though, I kind of do compare it to the Reigns of Castamere. Also, I'm sure there are a lot of innocent folks involved in that, and Tywin took them out with a whole bunch of water and drowned like thousands upon thousands of people. This is Tywin with fire instead of water. If Tywin had these dragons, like I said before, he would have been did this shit episodes ago and moved the capital someplace else and kept it pushing. So I don't know. I again do not like that she turned on innocent people. But the thing for me is just that they're trying to make her the Mad Queen in doing all of that, and I just don't like that narrative. I don't think it fits her character.
That's interesting. And Beauty Queen, what do you think about the whole Danny destroying the innocent people, even after hearing that the bill that they surrender is still attacking? What do you think about the whole situation?
I just think that she was. I didn't see her getting mad. I didn't get the impression she was mad or that she was just out of control. I thought that she was very controlled and deliberate in what she was doing. I think I think it was already, to me, from the last scene that she had with John. Well, all of the scenes leading up to that, the scene that she had with Tyrion, the scene when he told her that, that she had been betrayed, the scene that she had with John, where when she tried to, push herself on, well, I don't know if I want to say push herself or try to gain his affection, and he didn't want to go that way.
Yeah, I
Um,
got that.
you know what I mean? Like she was trying to get him to give in to her, but he just he's not comfortable with it. And that pissed her off. And the scene that she had with Grey Worm, I think all the culmination of those things, to me made me feel like, or it just made it seem to me that she was very deliberate in what she was doing, because she said it herself, she doesn't know any love here, she only knows fear. And I think she either she set herself up, or her whole arc has been about her having this entitlement to this throne and to this kingdom. And we've been saying it repeatedly throughout this whole season that she does not know the people there. She does not know the history. She has no idea of the kingdom that she is trying to take over. And I think in her mind, she thought she was going to come here and everybody was just going to love her. And that is not what's happening. These people do not know you. They have no idea who you are. And you say you're going to come and you're going to, you know, you're going to be a good queen. You're going to, you did not come to be the queen of the ashes. You're going to remove the tyranny. You're going to do all those things. But as soon as you see that these people are not kissing your feet like you expected them to, um, now you feel the need to make them pay for it. And that's what I got from it. It's just her she just gave into her anger. She gave into anger, and so she decided to destroy these people, because you know what? These people don't love me anyway. So what does it matter to me? I'm just going to kill off as many. It doesn't matter. Women, children, good, bad, it doesn't matter. And whoever is left is going to be able to, is going to um, know my name and know how my reign started. And it's going to be a reign of fear, since it can't be a reign of love. I mean, she clearly stated that pretty much throughout most of the episode. And I think all the culmination of all the things that have been happening, from Varys to Tyrion to Sansa to John, um, Missandei, and all of that, I think she just decided to just give into her anger and just, abandon being clear headed. She was like, F it. I'm just gonna burn them up. I'm just gonna burn them all. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't care. And pretty much it was like, I don't care anymore, is what I got from it.
Yeah, I agree totally with you. I think it does go to, she's quick to, conquer these cities, but she doesn't know the people. And in return, the city goes against her. Like she dealt with that with Moraine and had to deal with the son of the Harpies. And I think that she went to Westeros. It's like, you didn't come to liberate anyone. Like you say, oh, I don't want, and then I think it's BS talking about I want to break the will, but then you become basically another lord trying to get power. And I think that's the sad part about it, is that I think I think that, you have this girl who wanted to do good and liberate people, and slowly, have to go through all this trauma and all this death and stuff, and then have to be the bad guy in order to get something that you want so desperately. But then it becomes like, is it worth losing who you are in the process to gain this? Like, in Essos, she was liberating people, but when she came to Westeros, it was a different story. She was basically a tyrant. She was just, you're gonna bend to my will or you'll die. That's it. And I guess I don't feel. A lot of people say, and I get to AK's point where she's like, Tywin would have done the same thing. And I agree with you completely. I don't think that, like, she's a mad person. She's just going off the rail for no particular reason. I just think that she's not like this person that's trying to save everyone. She's just the same as Tywin, as Cersei, as Stannis. Like, these are people who will sacrifice innocent people in order to get what they want to obtain, which is the Iron Throne. I'm just saying she's not no better than any of them. But speaking of Dany, Lord Dom Snow, shout out to that person. Do you think Dany turn will be in the books as well? So do you think she's going to turn in the books as well? I'll start with you, Beauty Queen.
I think in some respects she probably will. I think, again, her whole life she's been told that this is something that is hers. You know what I mean? And that has been a major goal for her, to return to Westeros to reclaim um the Iron Throne. And I don't know if things are gonna. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more politics involved with respect to her return to Westeros and how she returns to Westeros because of who is currently in Westeros right now, meaning Fagon. And I think a lot of her showdown is going to more so take place with him. Um, uh, so there's going to be a lot of politics with that, I think. And I there might be a part of her that might descend because it's repeated constantly that Dany is not a ruler; she's a conqueror. She knows how to conquer, but she doesn't know how to rule because she doesn't understand temperance. She has no temperance. She's either hot or cold. She has a problem with processing things, especially when she's angry or she feels like she's thwarted. And in a lot of sense, that makes her no different. Like you were saying, that makes her no different than Tywin. That made her no different than Cersei. Like she doesn't have a meter, you know what I mean, to kind of to try to kind of you know, navigate certain things. She'll do it once in a while, but if she really feels like you really pissed her off, it's like she doesn't have a chill meter. She either gonna burn you or kill you or something. Like you pretty much can just count your days if that's the case. So I think in the books you probably see a lot of that, especially where it's left off in the book. So I think the show probably may not be too far off. But then also, I think that her character might be blended in a lot of ways in the show because put a lot of, they can't use a lot of the characters. So I think she's playing two characters. I think she's actually playing Fagon and herself in the show, especially with respect to the Golden Company. So it's going to be really interesting how the both of them how the dynamics is going to be when the both of them actually catch up with each other in Westeros. Because I personally think, as the way things are going, that Fagon will actually probably conquer King's Landing before Dany gets there. At least that's my thought process. Or will be close to it because he's pretty much taken quite a bit of. I think he has like the Stormlands, and I think he also has. I think he's conquered most of the Stormlands coming in, so he's not that far from getting into King's Landing. And now that Varys has killed off Kevin, you know, he's pretty much like paving the way for Fagon to be able to take over King's Landing. So I think there's probably going to be a clash between him and Dany, and we just have to wait to see how that plays out.
Interesting thoughts. Elamar, what do you think? Do you think that Dany turning is going to play out in the book as well?
I hope it's gonna go similarly, but not the same. And as far as her wanting to get what she's getting right now, okay, I think I was chatting, I think, with Santivia Major here in the chat just a couple seconds ago about how Dany is addicted to power. Like, I'm thinking once you taste something that you really, really like, you always want to have it. Power is one of the things. She was the sister of the future king, as far as she knew when she was younger. She kind of knew she's going to be his, wife at some point, but never thought of herself as being in power. She was always the submissive one. But once she tasted what the power looks like, that in a show, she just said for the, I hope my, I just dropped my keyboard. Hashtag do not wear yoga pants while streaming because they are very slippery. Anyway, once she tasted what the power is actually like when she can stop the Khalasar, she's like, oh, okay, I can actually do this. And then later on, more and more and more. So she got a taste of it. And with the Targaryens, like we keep hearing, and we heard it in the last episode when Varys, one of his last things that he actually said to important character was that, you know, the whole coin thing, it keeps what do you call it? It wobbles, you know, from one side crazy to not crazy. So I wonder if in the show it's gonna be, well, it is what it is right now. We have one more episode left, but in the books, if we're gonna see that whole thing play out where she won't go as crazy, because she will have somebody there to tip the coin over. Like there are two sides of the coin, the crazy side and then the not so crazy side, or very docile side. Maybe that's when Jon could come in, you know, two Targaryens, one crazy, one not, you know, marriage, not, you know, like kind of a balance thing. But I would like to see her going, because this is drama, this is the good stuff, this is what we go there for, actually, right? Isn't it? This is, if it was Disney, it would be like, oh yeah, the bad guy died, the good guy won and everything. Like, no, we want crazy, we want a real life, which is people making stupid choices, people making dumb choices, people making, like, if we're sitting and watching people, it's easy to judge, like they should have done it this way, they should have done it that way. No, like when you are in the moment, yeah, you go nuts, you go crazy, unless you have that, you know, narrator thing in your mind and you kind of like really are chill with everything. I foresee what George is doing, he's going to keep doing it. He's going to present us with real people, like real characters. Like our lives are not scripted. I think I have it somewhere in my video. Life is not scripted. Like we don't script stuff. Like we live in the moment, we react. And yeah, she crazy. She reacted kind of with a perspective of time. That's why I can't excuse it. But it would be so awesome to see in the book how George sees it, how the real person goes. Because here we're rushed. It's like, okay, people, put your, you know, from point A to point B hats on, and let's imagine the between the stuff. In the book, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna enjoy seeing her go crazy. Here, it's like, okay, the fuck just happened? She was sitting, she was good. I thought she's gonna land there. I thought she's gonna fly, but she made a barbecue out of the people. In the book, I'm thinking he's gonna give us that, you know, we're gonna feel for her. We're gonna be like, yeah, I want to burn them too. So if he does it like that, and he's great, he will give us point by point of why she went crazy. And I think we're gonna, if she goes that way, and I wouldn't mind it. This is the drama. I want it. I want it to be freaked out. I wouldn't be like, what the F is going on? And I went like that. But I know George may do a better job because he has the countless pages that he can do. They only have whatever number of minutes. So I think he may go that way in the books, and I'm gonna enjoy it more than I did in the show because I won't have to make the connections. He will make it for me.
You just made like some excellent points, and I agree with you 100%. I do think that it will possibly go down in the books as far as her like I guess people don't like to say call her going mad, but that's kind of what is happening as far as I think she's getting pushed and pushed and pushed into a position where she feels like the only way I'll be able to play this game is if I get my hands dirty. Like I don't think you can actually play the Game of Thrones without getting your hands dirty. AK, what do you think? Do you think this is going to go down in the books?
I think it's highly possible, but the way it happens in the books will be vastly different. It won't seem to just come out of nowhere. There'll be buildup for it. And if there's a backstory to it, I can actually absolutely get behind that. If she goes crazy, she does go crazy. And here's why. And we'll be shown what that is. So by the time it gets to that point, we're all going to be like, yeah, okay, you know, bitch cray cray. So whatever happens to her because she was on some dumb fuck shit. And that's really my biggest issue is that, you know, we didn't really get that much of a buildup for it. Everything that she's done, I see many other rulers have done. Yeah, she can be cutthroat and ruthless. There's no doubt about that. Not arguing that point at all. But what ruler hasn't been in this world, especially when they're at war? What ruler hasn't done heinous things? So in the book, I think it could happen. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but I definitely see it going that route. But we'll actually get what that route was, because, you know, everyone comparing her to Ares. When you look at Ares, he went nuts over the span of like a decade, and that was only after he was held in a dungeon and tortured for a year. So, you know, there was that buildup. There's a whole bunch of things that contributed to him going crazy, you know, because we know when he was younger, he was jealous of Tywin, yeah, but he wasn't freaking cutthroat and deadly torturing people with fire all the damn time. So I don't know. I don't think it's a true fair comparison to put her up against Ares just because he's the most recent person that went nuts. But if it does happen in the books, again, I won't be surprised. I think, you know, her character could definitely head that way because we've seen, you know, she grapples with that a lot. She knows her family history and she doesn't actually want to be in that mindset. But, you know, things do happen, and you can only push a person so far, I guess, with different situations, and they can snap, which is exactly what happened to Ares. You know, it was too much over too much time, and the gods flipped the coin, and he's one of the crazy ass targs. If Dany ends up like that, cool, if that's supposed to be the narrative, but I need you to sell me on that idea. That's my biggest thing with how they did it in the show. I need you to actually show me that's what happened, not over the course of what we've seen, maybe a week or two. How I can't really judge time on how they've been traveling around the realm within hours at a time anymore. But it just doesn't seem like there's enough things right then and there to make her snap in that moment, in the moment of winning, no less. I don't know. That might just be me though.
Well, it's like they did, now that I kind of think about it, they did kind of give you glimpse of like she's trigger happy with the dragons, because like she was quick to who was it? It was Barristan that slowed it down. It was like, it's easy to burn your enemies, but not everyone. Barristan was the one that told her about that. But then it was also, I don't know. It was that season where she was in Marine, where she was burning people kind of prematurely. It was in even last season where she was burning Randall. Like, I get that he had to die, but I'm with Tyrion that you could have let the son stay in prison, let them think it over first, and then. So she does have these moments where she's just like, I'd rather just burn you and get it over with than to try to do the more diplomatic approach to it. So there have been signs that, you know, she rather just go off and just burn everything.
She did give them a choice, though. She, you know, even after, you know, Randall said his little piece, she did listen to Tyrion at that point and say, you know, you can go to the wall. He absolutely refused. When it came to Dickon, he had the same deal. And, you know, she let Tyrion get those words out saying, you know, you're the last, you might be the last eligible of your house. You can go over here. And she didn't refute that. She would have been all for that. But he, you know, stood where his father stood. So they got burned. Again,
but that's what I'm saying.
That any other ruler would have done.
But I'm saying there were other options. She didn't have to just burn them. She could have locked them away to give them time to rethink it. That's what I'm saying. It was just like, let me just burn you. You're not agreeing with me. I think that might bite her.
I think that
But I'm talking about the son.
one of the reasons why she could, and I think somebody said it somewhere in the chats, she was it was the first weeks or whatever, you know, however time passes over there, that she was in Westeros, and to show mercy maybe in her mind would be to show weakness. So again, not excusing her at all, but just, you know, speaking from somebody else's view, that maybe she didn't want to show weakness. What maybe she just gave them a chance. They did not you know, choose the right option. They chose death, and by letting them live, she would be maybe seen in her eyes, her own eyes, as somebody who's weak, who's not able to, you know, follow through. Again, not a choice I would have made. I would have made it like, okay, come here, let's talk in private. Let's not make it a big scene, because once you make it a big scene, you have to commit. If you back down, some people will see it as something good, because you are able to think logically and, you know, roll with the punches. Some people will see you as like, okay, she caved. So first of all, error by, you know, not foreseeing the consequences. Second of all, like, okay, what do you want to portray? You don't even know the people that you're dealing with. So again, not my choice that I would make, but I see in her mind how she was raised, the place she came from. It was seen as a weakness. But maybe it's not a weakness in Westerosi standards, but she didn't know that. Again, no excuse to burn people.
No, I totally agree. I'm just saying that I think if she would have actually thought it through, maybe things would have changed in events if she would have gave him some time to think it over. And if he's still on that, I'm staying with my father. So I'm just saying she did have options, but she's quick to just say, let me burn you with my dragon. She's been like that for a while now. I'm just saying that they have kind of shown us that she is kind of quick to jump on a dragon. Not saying that she doesn't have any right or valid reasons to why she's doing it, but the truth is that she does kind of just jump on a dragon. It's like, let's just kill him. But moving on, go ahead, AK.
Oh, that was wanted to say also that also a precedent for how her rule is going to be. You know what I mean? If you cross me, these are going to be the consequences. So, in a sense, that she's already removed that that I will be merciful. She removed that. She took that off the table. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. I'm not. It's not even so much of a choice. It's more of an ultimatum. Either you're gonna bend the knee or I'm gonna burn you. That's it. So basically, if I don't submit to you, pretty much you're gonna end my life. There is no I'm going to send you to the wall. There is no I'm going to imprison you. There is no I'm going to take your child hostage for good behavior. Some of the things that we are known that people do in Westeros. It's just like she already set that kind of a precedent that it's either you do as you bend the knee to me, or I will kill, or I will burn you. I shouldn't say kill you, though. It is killing, but
Yeah, no, I definitely I understand understand that. I'm just saying that I think she could have had, because I think I'm looking at it as you're coming in, invading, you do want to try to make strong allies. So I feel like her just burning people, it really played into what Cersei was doing, because the people were like, she's just this foreign invader trying to take their lands. I just thought that, she had other options, but I get what you mean by she had to make an example that you either bend the knee or you die with her, which goes back to what I was saying, which I think she just trigger happy with those dragons. But AK, can you do some shout outs? We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah, word up, word up. We do. Holy shit, there are 55 people watching. Damn. Thank y'all for coming to chill with us. See, always we got my little brother fandom D Saint, 1998 champions, The Imagination Realm, Vincent Harper, Game of Theories with Marie, Edward Martin, Jory, Plexibrand, Sailor Diva, The Dog Show, Grand Swing. Let's see, the Imagination Realm. Let me scroll back up. Catherine Harding, thank you for coming through. Catherine's always around supporting us. Mr. E is in the chat. Let's see, Air and Water, my lady love. Dirty D, the one true David Adams, is holding it down with the wrench. Richie Rich Shatwell, thank you for coming through. Tez Tej, the boy Wonder, has rocked with us for many a stream now, so thank you for being here. Sam R09, who we will be discussing this with next week for the finale. Let's see. Tookie Mello, thanks for coming in. Fritz Mods. Let's go back. Peter Griffin. What's good? Let's see, Sir Dustin Wolfsbane. There's a few new names in here too that I haven't seen before. So welcome, y'all. Thanks for coming in. Lord Dom Snow, I see spots. Slide the Bench and Tank was in earlier. Not sure if he's still around. AU Pat Mule was also in earlier. Miss Witch, thank you for coming in. The Dog Show, don't know if I said that already. Santavia Major, thank you also for coming in. And that is everyone the chat will allow me to scroll up and see. So we appreciate you all you guys hanging with us. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Mother of Krakens is in the spot. Thank you for coming through, Ma. I think we're caught up. That's everybody there.
Well, thank you for joining us and welcome to the stream. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button if you're having a good time. So now let's move on, because we've been talking Danny. Fuck her right now. Let's talk about some people that died. Let's get into
Hold on. Real quick. Can we get one other question in before we move on?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So this one was from Sailor Diva, and she had asked earlier before the stream started, what happens now with the Iron Bank, and who do you think they back, Jon or Sansa, if anyone even goes to the Iron Bank to try to get any resources? And that's a very interesting question, because I hadn't even thought of them in this equation, but they do still have a stake in it. So what do y'all ladies think? T, you go ahead, go first.
To be honest, it's only if they you know what, that's interesting, because if Varys sends these letters off saying Jon is the true king, I can see the Iron Bank backing him up because he's a male. However, Dany is the one with the dragon with the power, and though the Iron Bank went with Cersei was making these power moves to say, I can get your stuff done. Anytime you go to a bank and say, I can clear my debt that y'all been trying to get for years, clear it and then get another loan, I would have to see Dany make some type of political move like that for them to want to actually invest in her. And I don't know, it might be the way that she got King's Landing. They might think that people might try to kill her. It's not the first time where they try to, take down the Targaryen king. I think even after Aegon died, they was trying to go back to business as usual. So when it comes to the Iron Bank, it's either if they do hear about Jon becoming the the king, if they find out he's the true heir, I can see them going behind her back because they didn't like the fact that she messed up this slave trade. But then I have to keep in mind that Dany is the one who has a big ass dragon, and shit changes when you have a dragon. Let's go with Beauty Queen.
I don't get the impression that we'll even hear anything about the Iron Bank on the show, to be quite honest. But if we're just gonna be talking the talk, I think Danny would have they would probably, whoever inherits the throne also inherits the debts. So um and as queen, she's gonna have to settle whatever debts was left over from the previous monarch. Now, the Iron Bank, I think, made an investment in Cersei, and so I don't know if they have to eat that investment because she did pay them off. She did pay off the crown's debt when she invaded High Garden, so she got the money to pay them off. But they decided to reinvest in her, hence how she got the Golden Company. So I don't know if that's an investment that Danny's going to be like, well, you're going to have to eat that because you backed the wrong person. So again, yeah, that might be something they have to eat. Now, um, Danny, I can see, yeah, she has a dragon, but if she's really trying to rule, um, there is so much homage that you're probably, first of all, she's gonna have to try to get these people to come and pay her homage, right? Meaning they're gonna have to put money in the royal coffers. You know what I mean? Because uh, she's going to have to there's going to be a huge building project that's going to have to take place in King's Landing after she done destroyed half of the capital city. So there's going to be a huge, I'm just thinking about, there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be required to rebuild after you've done all of that. And so if we're speculating about Iron Bank, so she's going to need money from the Iron Bank to be able to do that. So there's probably going to have to be a lot of negotiating on her part and on the Iron Bank's part. So I that would be very that would be very interesting politicking on Danny's part because I don't know how she's not dumb, but I don't know how politically astute she is to be able to deal with the Iron Bank. I'm not saying she's dumb by any means, and I'm not saying that she doesn't have any she's not politically savvy in a lot of ways. I'm sure she is, but I don't know how savvy she really is because she's never really ruled. She's always had good people around her who took care of that. And her relationship to Tyrion is already broken. So I don't see Tyrion being her hand. Excuse me. I don't see Tyrion staying as her hand. So, and I don't know who's going to step up to want to be her hand. I don't know, Grey Worm. So it would be very interesting if the show were to give us that. It would be very interesting to see how she would navigate those waters because she pretty much doesn't really have a small council. She would just have to create one. Would have to be create. She would have to create one. And who is she going to choose to do that? Because she's already said that she's going to be ruling through fear. And most of the lords that are probably in the realm currently are probably already going to start plotting how they're going to depose her anyway. So I don't. That would be very interesting to see.
No, I agree with you so much on that, and it goes to like, you know what? Can you imagine being a regular citizen, minding your business, and this chick come burn up the whole city, and then you gotta probably pay taxes or some shit because she couldn't just aim at the red keep and keep it moving. Like when I think about it, this bitch did zigzag, maybe what Rickon should have done. She did zigzags before she was even close to the red keep. She was like, "Fuck y'all city." She's terrible. I don't feel bad for her. I don't. But you know what? She was doing so much dirt. Let's talk about some of the people that died because Danny went crazy. Let's talk about Euron and Jaime. Y'all know I was so fucking happy when they were fighting. I was like, yeah, he got him twice. Then this goofy motherfucker ends up walking down the cave. I was like, he can walk now. He was just crawling for the knife. He got that Arya treatment where you can get stabbed a few times and it's okay because you got to be somewhere else. So it's okay. He got stabbed like so many times in the gut, but he had to be with Cersei. So Cersei got that magic box because your man was crawling one scene and standing up walking was like la di da di da. So what did y'all think about the whole Euron and Jaime fight scene? I'm gonna start off with my girl Elamar. What did you think about that scene?
Oh my god, I'm like dying over here. I'm trying to remember my buttons to press them correctly. I still want Euron's coat. I so want his freaking coat. I know he's dead. It's full of stab wounds, but I want his coat. As far as Jaime and Cersei, it must be the pregnancy hormones or something. He's like, yeah, they're in love. But before I go there, I just wanted to say, as far as Cersei, if I were her, like, I don't know if we can swear on the stream or not, but I would be like, F you people. Like, you paid them to kill me. Like, I ain't paying that. Like, you can take care of it yourself. Like, I'm not paying you back, you know, the bank. So that would be like, never mind, you're dead. You just make sure that to tick me off even more so I won't fly my dragon, one remaining, and burn your whole thing, beautiful thing, to the ground. But as far as Jaime, again, we don't choose whom we love. And oh my goodness, yeah, the whole thing about them up and down at the end, and fandom BBM. Yes, I'm calling you fandom right now because you're fandom right now. To me, you're always BBM, but you're gonna be fandom to other people. I love
facts.
Exactly. You're BBM, but you're fandom to others. So hey, yeah. The way they died. Oh my goodness. I'm a hopeless romantic. I know she's a bitch, and I know he's a. I don't know if he's a. You called him a fuckboy at some point. I don't know if he's been with anybody else but Cersei. But there are different. Has
And
he been with
Brienne.
a what?
He literally fucked Brienne and ditched her and
Oh
went
yeah.
right back.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he did
I
the
guess.
F boy. He
Yeah.
did it.
True.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that. So one already can make him a fuckboy. So that okay, I give you that exactly. That's not right. The only thing that may be right from it is there may be a baby. I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing. Babies are a blessing, so I wouldn't hate on a baby if she had a baby. The baby's a baby. Representations, whatever. Anyway, Jaime and Cersei dying. It was romantic. I know. Don't throw shit at me, please. They love. They don't choose. You cannot choose who you love. That's it. You can choose how you react to it. You can choose how you respond to your feelings or whatever, but you do not choose how you feel. You can change your actions. They didn't do that, so bad on them. But they loved each other. It was crazy kind of love, but they loved each other their whole lives. You know, Targaryen thing, whatever, Lannister thing. And they were able to die in each other's arms. So to their haters, it's like they don't deserve a good death, a calm death. They had a beautiful death. I mean, what else can you want? If you're in love with somebody, dying at the same time, you don't have to live more than they live. You don't have to be like dead inside knowing that you'll die and your lover or the person you love will have to live years after you die and they're miserable. This is a perfect death. You die together. And yeah, the whole thing about they were you know, they were holding each other. He was comforting her. So it was a beautiful death. I would love to have a death like that. It's a quick death. No sickness, no dragons. There was drama, but at the end, oh my god, you have you and your lover, well, your brother, Icky, lover, right in your face, hugging you, making you forget about the death, and it's just the two of you. It was beautiful. It was tragic. she didn't deserve a good death as a person that she was, but as a person that she was, we all deserved something good. She didn't deserve it though, because she was a bad person. But anyway, from her perspective, it was a great way to die. I think she appreciated it at the end. I think I cried a little. I forgot. I had wine.
I damn sure didn't cry. I laughed. I think the whole thing with Jamie dying from the rocks and stuff, that didn't bother me. I think what bothered me is that he was in a fight where he clearly was wounded because he was limping off, and then he started walking. Like, if they would have even got it to where he even got to her, but by the time he gets to her, he collapses in her arms, like, that would make more sense to me because he was barely walking. So, like, the whole thing with him, I know a lot of people think that Cersei deserves like a better death. That didn't bother me. I'm like, good, they're dying. Like, you died off of rocks. Like, you didn't get this glorious death that most people would love to write about. Like, in the books, they're going to be like, how does Queen Cersei die? With rocks. Like, she died of rocks. That's how she went out. Like, really? She did all that? Rocks. That's how they got them. But I was happy, and I was thinking of Sir Fandom. I was thinking of him when they were dying. I was like, oh, a 2-for-1 special? Like, they both out of here? Hey. And then, of course, I was thinking of my girl Timo. She's not here because, she's in her mourning period. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's be petty. A moment of silence for Jamie.
Fuck that bullshit. I ain't giving that motherfucking no damn moment of silence. Fuck that golden dumbass. Hell to the nah.
I was trying to give the golden dumbass a little respect. I mean, he did get all the way to Winterfell. He survived knife wounds and still made it to Cersei. But I feel you. Fuck him. I tried. Y'all saw I tried to be good, right? And AK messed it up. So don't ever say I wasn't nice to him.
I'm gonna say really quickly. He was my top three. My top three are Arya, Jamie, and Tyrion for different reasons. It's not like I like them. They intrigue me. They give me drama. They give me ooh and ah, and where they're gonna turn. That's with Jamie, like with all of them. Seeing Jamie die, like with Euron, like, oh no, you're not gonna kill my Jamie. Like, you don't deserve his death. Like, what the just go and drown you already. Like, what the hell? It's just
I was like, do it, finish him.
See, I wanted Jamie to die some tragic thing versus like just being stabbed somewhere. Just because I want drama in it. Just because you're my top three doesn't mean you're safe. Like, you're dead. You can die unless you're Arya.
See, I would thought it would have been more drama in him basically like barely getting to her. Like, I still think it was nice that he got to her.
So cool.
But I'm saying, like, because she was saying, like, oh, you're bleeding. Like, if they would have just changed, and I know I'm petty, stop being petty, but if they would have changed that one little thing and had him stumbling and then he's like leaning to her, you still get that dramatic effect like they're about to die. He could still do that thing. They could be on the ground, he's holding her and say, just look at me.
That would have been so much.
Back to they need me to write this damn show. I would have had y'all crying, okay? I would have had y'all crying.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Like, just there but not there, and like missed a chance. I would be like, oh my god, yes, that's so good. But oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, oh, this was the worst death imaginable. I just think that you saw this woman who thought she was inevitable, like no one could defeat her, and as soon as like she was all talk. Cersei's always been all talk, and we all know that. So once things started going south, she bitched up, and then she's like, I want my baby to live, and all that other goofy stuff. But anyway, Beauty Queen. Beauty Queen's going. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to add something to this, Cersei. You mentioned Cersei, and the way we see people on that show, and again, this goes back to George writing real people. Like, we may have our exterior, we may be tough in front of our enemies, not to show our weakness, and we may be like all soft and crazy, crying on our friends' shoulders and all that. Francie has no friends, so she cannot show her weak side. She has to show her serious side, and that woman can cry. We saw her almost breaking down in front of Tyrion. whenever there was a scene in the bedroom somewhere, and then we saw her breaking down completely when she had the walk of shame, and this was exactly the same, I think, smile, well, not the smile, but the facial expression she had after the walk of shame when she was swooped up by the mountain. And here, when Jaime was walking towards her, she had the same expression. I think she was showing her not everybody is strong all the time. So if they showed her as a character who's always strong, who doesn't, have any feelings, that would have been off for me, because we all have feelings. We just hide them really well, and some people hide them really well. Cersei hides them really well, and she only shows them at certain times. Like, you can only count it maybe like three times where she actually showed her emotions. She's not a robot. She's not a mountain. Even Mountain had some stuff internally that he was not able to listen to all the directions. So when Cersei breaks down, she's not the strong person. She's not. She has to play that part. And Jaime and maybe Tyrion are the only two people where she can show her feelings. So I actually appreciated her being shown as not a robot, but a person. When you are faced with death, there's nothing in front of you but death, and you basically break down. You don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything to fight for. You just are basically stripped of everything. And she just wanted to live. The survival, I think, was left in her. And that showed me her as a real person. Again, like later on, Mountain had something in him that did not make him a robot. So I appreciated seeing her being weak, not only as a person being like, okay, she's a person, she has some feelings, but also, yeah, she's not that tough. She's weak. She's crying like a little, yeah, she was crying. And you can take it as a good thing and you can take it as a bad thing. I took it as both. I just loved it. I loved the way she basically broke down as a basic human. Death and her. That's it. What else do you have left? Crying.
Yeah, I mean, she broke down even at the Battle of Blackwater when she was ready to off herself with her son. So when things get like rough, she'll punk out real quick. I don't think I heard Beauty Queen's thoughts on the whole Jaime's death scene and Cersei's death scene, because it surprisingly it didn't bother me, but then I was really happy he was dying. So.
It also ties into the question that fandom BBM had put in. He said, do you think Cersei and Jaime survived the rubble? So you can go ahead with that too, Beauty Queen.
Wishful thinking.
I agree with what LMR said with respect to, her final moments, just showing her, bringing her, humanizing her. Then again, I never thought of Cersei as not being human. She did a lot of messed up things, but she's still a person. And and I'm just speaking from the perspective of book Cersei that I know. I don't really know show Cersei very well, so I can't really use that as a point of reference. I can only use book Cersei as a point of reference because I love rereading A Feast for Crows because she's one of my favorite point of view characters in A Feast for Crows. So I thought it was very well done. I loved everything about it. There was nothing about it that I didn't like. I thought it was well executed. As far as Jaime is concerned, yeah, that whole fight with Euron to me could have been a throwaway thing because I laughed through most of it. I thought it was just funny to watch. I think that's probably the only time I probably watched Euron and was like, man, that's some good acting. I just thought it was funny. With respect to him getting stabbed, yeah, I think he did get the ire treatment, but I guess in my head I was just thinking, he was just running off of adrenaline, because sometimes when you're running off on adrenaline, and he was so focused and fixated on getting to Cersei, it probably, sometimes I don't know how to put it. Like if you've ever been in you had a heightened sense, and you've been like, if you've ever been in a car accident and you get banged up in a car accident, but you don't start to feel it until like maybe a few days later. You start to feel like the pains, or your body gets real stiff, and it's usually that flight or fright that your adrenaline that is going through you. It kind of like blocks a lot of your pain sensors, and so to me, that's just the way that I viewed it. Um, yeah, I mean, to me, I just thought that he was just running off on adrenaline because he was fixated on trying to get to. So it didn't bother me that, that he was still up and around and walking around after he got stabbed by Euron. And yeah, I don't really have much more. I think Elamar pretty much stated everything that I was thinking with respect to Cersei. I thought it was well done, and kudos to Lena Headey. I think she was a great. I think she embodied who Cersei was. As a, again, I don't know show Cersei other than clips that I've watched prior to season 6. But from what I've seen from season 6 on, I think she truly embodied the essence of who Cersei is to me in the books. And I think she did a magnificent job up until portraying how Cersei is in the end, and I'm glad that, and at the end of all things, she didn't die alone, that they didn't die alone. They ended up dying with each other. So
Yeah, I could see with adrenaline. I still would have probably preferred it the other way, but that's me being petty. But once again, I was just happy that the dude was out of here. We talked about who else died. Varys died.
Wait, hold up. Give my thoughts on Jaime and Cersei.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah. And to answer BBM, no, I don't think they survived the rubble at all. And them dying was, it was all well and good. They both definitely deserved that death. I just feel like it was just too soft for all the shit that they've done. They didn't deserve to be happy in each other's arms and whatnot. It just seemed like it should have been a bit more harsh where they were concerned. But again, that's probably just me. I'm not a Cersei or a Jaime fan at all, and I would have liked to see them suffer something like Ramsay getting eaten by his dogs, as more of a like poetic ending to them. But that's just me.
I'd like to add something to what you're saying, AK. I don't know where it started, the whole thing about it's not Disney or we don't want it to be Disney. And I love the idea of what you're saying, because I think it's great justice. They ideally, okay, my ideal death, again, this is probably not the death that you would want for Cersei, but my ideal fairy tale death for Cersei was Arya going there with, on orders of Sansa, with Jaime's face and choking the freaking life out of her, like just choking the fuck out of her, and just like, oh my god, it's like 3 people killed her. Sansa killed her. Sansa killed her. Arya killed her, and Jaime killed her, and like, oh my god, it's like I'm not gonna go further because I'm getting extra excited about it. It didn't happen, but that would have been Disney for me. It would be my treat. Like if I got what I wanted, that would be my Disney, getting the ultimate death that I foresaw for this crazy, okay, fandom, close your ears, for this crazy lady who deserved to be, killed, resurrected by Beric, killed again, resurrected by Beric, and like, however many lives that dude can like master. I didn't get Disney. I got different kind of Disney. I got Jaime kind of Disney. I got Cersei kind of Disney. This was Disney death for her. This was a perfect death that she could have imagined. Like, again, what do you want to do? Die in the arms of your loved one without having them suffer, without having you suffer. You die at the same time. Boof, off, you're done. That was Disney for them. It wasn't Disney for me. I wanted drama. I wanted death. I wanted like redemption. I didn't get it, but I still loved it on a different level. They deserved harsher death, for sure. But on the perspective of a character, if I'm Cersei, I want to die well. I want to die peacefully. So as Cersei, I got it. As somebody who's against her like death, I would have wanted to put a dagger in her heart like 30 times next to her heart. So she dies slowly. Okay, fandom, you can take off your, oh, he can hear me anyway. I would have given her a gruesome death if I could. I did not. Yeah.
My initial thoughts were that she was going to get killed by Arya wearing Jaime or Tommen's face even before, but that's not what they chose to happen, which it was a little bit suckish. KC64 in the chat said D&D could have had Jaime and Cersei escaping in the boat just to be captured by Yara and then presented by Daenerys. That is a plot point I could have got behind. I would have loved that, but we didn't get that.
You know what I think? I think people have said that it wasn't a public death and that they died behind closed doors. And I think that's probably what people are like. Because if you put basically the same situation, but put it outside, and instead of the bricks falling down on them, you have Daenerys coming slowly with the dragon, and she's crying, talking about Jaime, don't let me die, don't let me die. And he's like looking at her, and it's inevitable. Damn, I need to write. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, I wasn't trying to hype myself up. But I'm just saying that I think people, they don't really care for her death because it was in private. It wasn't public. I think if it was more public, more shameful, people would have been more behind her death. Because when you think about it, she was begging for her life at the end of by the end. She was begging for a baby's life. She was like, Jaime, don't let them kill me. Don't let me die. She was crying. She was even crying when she was still in the Red Keep looking out. So like I said, I'm not mad. I could, just like how Littlefinger died, he was just crying and whimpering on his knees. It's like, yeah, I kind of saw that that's probably how you would go out. So it didn't bother me as much. But I think looking back, I think people are more upset it wasn't public. So do you have anything else to say about Jaime and Cersei dying?
Just to add to, I think the last episode when Jaime overheard or oversaw first Brienne and Sansa talking, and then Sansa chimed in and said something like, I wish that I could see your sister either being executed
like be
or
the one to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for us to see that death, it would have been great. Like you have the whole spectacle. People, I mean, we see it because we're obviously watching the show, but to see it through people's eyes, to see their excitement, like during Ned's beheading, like it was just like so sick. Like people are so hungry for, well, I'm guilty of it myself, wanting that drama and blood and all the gore. People in the public, they want to see that public thing. And to have a private, like more intimate death, like you don't want to die. Like think of yourself, like do you want to die do you want to die in your home? Well, anyway, a deep question. Normally, from what I studied, people want to die at their house. Like they want to die peacefully. They don't want to die at the hospital. They don't want to die in the public. They don't want to die when they're being, trying to be resuscitated. They want to have a private death. So Jaime and Cersei got off really, like, I don't know, they didn't deserve that kind of death, as looking at their the things that they've done, but this is the best death you can get. Again, private. Nobody's watching you. You can be yourself while dying. Not that you care because you're dying, but yeah, just the whole there was a lot of death in here. There was a lot of death as in people in general, decisions about death, who's gonna die. Dany had, she's just one person with one dragon at this moment, deciding who's gonna die. And within seconds, she decides, I'm not gonna just kill her, I'm gonna kill everybody. So yeah, the theme of death. It's scary, but it's so personal. Jaime and Cersei dying together alone, romantic. They didn't deserve it, but yeah, it, it was something. It was definitely something.
I just wanted to add, I think we also need to keep in mind that they're probably not going to have a public death in the books either. So um, at least that's not how it's foreshadowed for Cersei anyway. Her death is not meant to be public. So um, the show, to me, at least from what I've observed, they haven't really been, they haven't really gone the route of prophecy, none of the prophecies in the books. They've pretty much kept it more so to the politics. And if they do mention the prophecies, it's only to drive the politics. It's not necessarily to drive the character or the plot. It's, you know what I mean? So again, I think in the books, I don't think their death is going to probably be, gruesome or public. Like Tywin's death wasn't that gruesome or public. He died in a toilet bowl. I mean, so, sometimes you just, a character is going to die, but they're not going to die in the way that you think they're going to die. Maybe for some sort of satisfaction, you want it to be gruesome, but it probably is going to be lackluster, you know?
I actually like Tywin's death. I thought that was fitting for the person that he was. He died in a very embarrassing way, and that fit his narrative.
I love the way you said it. Okay, like he good. I mean, good thing for him because he was all for the name. Like you cannot soil the family name. And where does he die? On a freaking toilet. I'm sure it was golden. Because he was Tywin. Yeah. Again, he had the I guess honor of dying privately. Whatever they did with the body, they did they did with the body, and it's fine. But I wanted to just add to Manaro's what she was saying. I think in my video I mentioned like we don't, first of all, we don't choose whom we love, but then again, we also don't choose, most likely. I mean, we do have a choice. We can take control of our death in some states or anywhere, depending on how you want to do it. But we don't choose how we die or the moment we die. We may have a plan, and then we just that's why I keep thinking that this is, I'm not hating on it. I'm treating it as, I think one of you ladies mentioned it, like I think Monero, you did at some point, like you're treating it the book separate and the show separate, completely separate. Completely. And this is the way I'm choosing it. I want to be the lover, not a hater. I just want to be entertained and shocked. And the way I see death on the show over there is you don't choose how you die, and it's a great representation of life. Like you don't know, you're gonna, some people take off their stuff when they when they go to bed, because there's the prayer what that says, but I don't even know what the prayer says. I don't do that. But like when you sleep, it's kind of like you don't know if you're gonna wake up. Like you have no idea, so you don't choose how you're gonna die. So I would love for them to have this. We can narrate the death for the character, like, oh, they did this, so they deserve this kind of death. They deserve fire, or they deserve all kinds of gore that they will get, and we want to be entertained and feel this, vengeance. Like they did so many bad things, they deserve this kind of death. They may just die in their sleep before before they're executed, and you feel cheated. So it's a real life. I love the way George presents it, where it's not like what you're scripting. Disney is what you're scripting. George doesn't do Disney. I'm assuming I'm saying George because anyway, I'm hoping whatever they did, it's kind of like what George wanted them to do. So I don't treat it as Disney. If it were Disney, they would have died a gruesome death, like I said. But it wasn't Disney, so they died a very quiet, private death. And I was cheated. They were not, as people, because it wasn't Disney. Let's just say it this way. Yeah, I expected zero Disney. I got zero Disney. I got shocked, cheated, and happy at the same time, depending on how you look at it. So I'm disappointed and extra happy at the same time. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you'll have a lot of people who are disappointed how they ended it, and then you'll have people who appreciate it. Not everyone's gonna be happy with it, but that's the beauty of this. It's subjective. Do y'all have anything else you want to say about Cersei and Jaime's death? We're good to go off of that one. I actually want to go. Huh?
Said
What you
fuck
say?
all.
Oh yeah, fuck them, girl. I just gave you better death, but we ain't gonna go there. I'm telling you. I was saying in the chat, and the chat is hyping me up. Might be a puppet show out of this. I don't know, but I was saying like if this is me if I'm Danny, and I'm talking about she ain't shit for killing innocent people, but I'm talking about if I was her, I would have got Jaime, cut him into pieces, just like his daddy was talking about, cut him into pieces. I would have flown my dragon and started chucking Jaime pieces at her. Would have fucked her up. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. I'm curious to what y'all think about. Oh no, you know what? Let's get to a question. Sam wrote, I feel like they have made all the female characters very stereotypical instead of characters George R. R. Martin originally wrote, which are strong and deep. How do y'all feel about that? AK, how do you feel about that?
I don't know. When it comes to some of the lady characters, I think they did stay true to form. But in others, I do agree with Sam. They've put them into these random tropes that we have, and we know George is not about keeping tropes like that. And looking over to the chat, shout out Chrissy Old Stones just came in. Thanks for coming through, Ma. And it's almost a catch-22. Six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. They did hit some good plot points with a lot of these ladies and their temperament, but I do think they missed the bar with some of them as well. So yay and nay, if that makes sense.
Okay. Beauty Queen, what do you think about the whole them being like stereotypical? How you feel about that?
I don't get the impression that they're being portrayed as stereotypical women. I think they're portrayed as women for the time period that they are. They're women who are living in medieval times, um, and they live in a very patriarchal society, and most of the patriarchs are pretty much gone, and you had a lot of women in power, or you had or have a lot of women who are now assuming power. So I think they are portraying them as women for the for the time period that they're in. So I don't see them as stereotypical. um, I guess I guess I would need a point of reference of what you mean by stereotypical women, because they're not portraying modern day women. They're not living in a modern day time. They're living in a different time. So, the mindset of society as a whole was a lot different back then. And so I think these women have exceeded a lot of the norms for their time. You have Sansa, Dany, Cersei, Yara, Arya. They're not playing typical women for their time. They're not playing the roles of women for their time. So I don't see them as playing stereotypical women. I guess I would just need to understand what is the point of reference for that question.
I guess she was just curious, to be honest with you. Elamar, did you answer the question?
I did not, and actually, that was the same thing as Manaro mentioned. Like, I'm not sure what stereotype they mean. Like, um, because they're showing women over there. We have, again, before Sansa turned into current Sansa, she wanted to be the lady, and she wanted to be, just girly princess, blah blah blah, and then she became this other kind of woman. So even these days, currently, I don't know what the stereotype that the question was referring to. Like, I always kind of pointed to myself to myself, like, as a mother, I have two girls where I tell them they can be whatever or whoever they want to be. Like, you don't have to be a girly girl, you don't have to be a tomboy, you can be both. Like, I am, again, shout out to women, we can be anything. Like, I I do have my nails spot on, but I do have my tools in the garage, and I can make anything that can be made. So I don't
Let me
even know what that is.
Oh, she wants to clarify. She says she was comparing the book to the show characters, treating changing them from deep, intelligent, strong women to more stereotypical women in the writing. So I guess damsel in distress type situation, right? If I'm wrong, let me know, Sam.
Okay. So I guess when I
I don't
hear,
get that.
go
I'm
go ahead,
sorry.
Manara. Go ahead, Manara.
I don't get them as damsel. I don't see them as damsels in
I was
distress.
just
Did
giving
they
that
have?
example. That wasn't
Oh,
her
oh,
giving that. That was just
yeah.
me. I'm seeing if she'll clarify it though. But keep going.
I think they do display intelligence on the show. It, you know, I don't. There again, but again, this is just a person from a, trying to. I'm trying to be separate, but it's kind of hard because I understand what the show is doing, because the show has blended their characters with a lot of other characters to kind of show certain stories to certain things to drive the story. Like Sansa, for example, Sansa played Sansa and Jane Poole at the same time because in the books, Sansa never went to Winterfell and married Ramsay. So she, in a sense, had to play two different people. I hope that makes sense. So I, in them blending a lot of people's characters to kind of show different things that are in the books on the show because they're not introducing any new characters. Um, I think they put them in a situation and then they show them overcoming that situation. And I'll just use Sansa because Sansa is a little bit more easier to show to have that discussion with. Sansa has We've seen Sansa as a weakling and as a pawn. We've seen Sansa go from being somebody who wasn't really edu- wasn't really wise to the way of the world because she lived in this fantasy that she grew up into somebody who has become more aware and more politically astute and become very savvy. So, and it's because of the experiences that she has had, good and many bad, most of the bad experience that she has had that has brought her to that point. So I think they do display them as intelligent because we can also say the same thing for Danny. All of her experiences in Marine have helped to bring her to a point where at one time she did display some level of intelligence and some level of astuteness to be able to drive her character forward. It's just that, now as we get towards the end, and I know a lot of people say that, that everything seems a little bit rushed. There wasn't enough time to have like this slow build, but I think we're seeing the culmination of a lot of where these character arcs are getting ready to end, and how the and LMR said it well. You know, at the end of the day, when Martin writes these characters, they're still people. You know what I mean? And they have emotions. They have raw emotions, and a lot of them make decisions based on those emotions. And some of them are able to temper it, and some of them are not. Some of them are able to navigate it, and some of them are not. And sometimes you don't know how a person's going to react until they're actually in a situation. Because people can talk big, but when it comes down to acting, some of them, get real, become real small. or some of them become bigger than life. So yeah, I don't see them as typical women. But then again, I probably shouldn't have answered it because I'm not really. I've only been watching the show since season 6, so based on what I've seen, and because I've observed, the fact that they've blended a lot of these characters with other characters from the books to kind of, you know, show a particular story arc. I think they, did their best to kind of make that character come some sort of full circle.
And to add to that, if I could, we
Mhm.
don't actually have when you mention Manara, when you mention a typical woman over there, there's actually, from the major characters that we see, there's not a major kind of a type of woman that we see. I mean, we see Arya, who's a tomboy. We see Sansa as a girly girl. We see Brienne as somebody who wants to be a knight. We see Catelyn, who's submissive. We see Lyanna, the other Lyanna, and actually the other Lyanna as well, as somebody who has a strong character. So I'm not sure exactly what George would have in mind in general as women. He portrays them from both extremes, I would say, and everything in the middle. So again, like we have in the world today, and he was such a great writer to actually do it because he wrote it whatever 20 some years ago when the whole, I'm not sure time is funny, numbers are funny, when the whole, woman power comes out. Like we can be, anybody can be anything they want. It's just that they have to have enough guts to do what, to go outside what the society thinks it's okay. So over there in the books, we see all kinds of women in general. There are some smart women, and there are some not so smart women over there, as you can see, and we have our choices. Yeah, again, they're real characters, but real, portraying real people, and this is what I completely adore and love about this story. We're not seeing people who, you have 3 4 writers sitting down, let's write this person down. How? No, it's not one. You're not having 3 4 people write a person down. You have one, a writer writing this character who is completely flawed, and you have these other characters who's completely flawed in the way we fall in love with them, because we kind of see ourselves, maybe not in Jamie and the whole incest thing or whatever, but we see ourselves in so many of these characters, and so many of these women as women, because we have women on the panel right now. I see myself with everybody. I see myself with Sansa, because yeah, I look hot in a dress, but hell, I am a tomboy. I was the one who climbed up the tree and who won the race, and well, yeah, who got burned for it. But I see myself everywhere. This is why I fell in love with the show, because I can see myself in each one of these characters. So for me, there's no one type of women that he writes, or one type of man. There is a man who's brave, there's a man who is not so brave, there's a smart man, and there's a really dumb man over there making bad choices. But again, that's why, again, I love this type of writing, because it's portraying, I mean, we're talking about characters, but we're talking about them as real people, and I just love it. I love it to pieces.
Yeah, good points. This is actually becoming a really interesting topic. So what we're going to do is, Sam, please remember this topic. So when you come on next week, we can go into it a little bit more, and then you can also explain more to what you were saying. And if your thought changed, or if you feel like we missed a mark or something. So this was definitely an interesting topic about females in this in Westeros in general, and the various different ones you have, like both of you guys mentioned. AK, did you respond?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Now let's talk about the Cleganebowl. I want to talk about violence. I know. I actually really enjoyed the Cleganebowl. At first, I didn't like it when I first saw it, because I guess in my head I would have preferred it for them to just show the full fight scene instead of going back and forth, back and forth. But when I saw it again, how they played it, I was like, this is not that bad. This is actually pretty dope. I actually enjoyed it, especially it wasn't like on some battle. It was on a battlefield, but I love the fact that they were on the steps. Like they were like, we're not going to walk to a certain area and start fighting. We're going to get it done now. I love how the Hound just went through all of those guards like it was nothing. And then we also have to talk about how the Mountain all of a sudden just don't obey nobody. So that kind of caught me off guard because I'm like, wait a minute. So when the Hound saw you the first time, did it click to you now like, oh shit, I'm the Mountain? Or I'm so curious about the whole what the hell went on with the Mountain for him to just say fuck it and kill Qyburn because he wanted to fight his brother that bad. I'm curious, but anyway, I'm getting too excited. AK, you start talking about it.
I'm not sure that I feel it was, just like, out the blue, he's not listening to anyone. I think we've gotten nodes, a little bit throughout that he does still have a bit of his own mind in that, there was a point where, Jaime was saying something to Cersei. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was lightweight talking shit about the Mountain, and the Mountain just turned and looked at him. And, Jaime shut the fuck up. So I think that, there's always been still a little bit of semblance of, the Mountain that we know. He's one of the few characters that are truly evil in the story. There's no gray area with him at all. And, with Sandor finally catching up to them, and, I saw a lot of folks later on were asking, why did the Hound let Cersei go by? Cersei was never his target. He wasn't going to King's Landing to do anything for her to stop her by any means. He had one goal, and that is exactly where he went to. So
that shit was funny though. That shit was funny when she said, you know what, I'm gonna let y'all handle it, but I'm gonna go on my way. Go ahead.
Exactly. Right. She noped the hell out of that situation. And that was also like a 2-for-1 sale, because by that point, I honestly was surprised that Qyburn was even still in King's Landing, in the Red Keep in general. I thought once, he gave the report that the Iron Fleet is gone, all the ballistas are gone, and all the army has surrendered and all this other nonsense, I was like, okay, Qyburn is, the dude that's about himself for sure, and he's going to get the fuck out of Dodge. And next thing we know, no, he's still here with Cersei, and, he fucked up, he got the Mountain treatment. That's what you get for still hanging with Cersei. You're ultimately going to die by some means. And as far as the main fight between the Clegane brothers, I, unlike a lot of people, was not hype about Cleganebowl at all. Like if it would have happened, then fine. But if it wasn't going to happen, I wouldn't have cared. However, this is one of the great moments of this episode. I loved how this went down. Qyburn started trying to talk shit. The Mountain was like, nah, bruh. Toss his ass down. There goes Qyburn. And, Cersei's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Y'all go ahead and handle what you need to handle. And, this epic fight ensues. And honestly, I'm surprised the Hound didn't die sooner, because it's not like he's a weakling. He was giving the Mountain that work, but the Mountain was already stronger than most people. And in death, being the undead Franken Mountain that he is, it was a wrap. He got stabbed up and hit a big number of times. And finally, the Hound's like, why the fuck won't you die already? And at that moment, that's where, after, the Mountain got that final hit to the Hound and he stood up, he just looked at him, and you could see on his face, he was, the wheels were turning. He knew exactly what was going to have to be done. And there's only one way he's going to be able to take his brother out, and that's to go out with him at the same time. And it was very poetic. See, this right here was a great fucking death for both of these characters. He took the mountain out essentially by the same means that he has so much vengeance in his heart towards the mountain, by fire. And that shit was fucking epic. Like there's a movie that came out a while back called Dog Soldiers. And one of my favorite characters in that movie is this guy. He's a rugby player, and his troop got caught somewhere in the woods. He could not get back home in time to be on the field with his team. But when it came to time, he had to fight the enemy one-on-one. He knew he was about to die. And his last words were, "I hope I fucking give you the shits, you bastard." And that's when he got killed. He was fighting a werewolf. That's why, the werewolf was about to eat him. So that's why he said that. And I thought that was fucking epic. Like, if you're going to go out, then take the out that you know is going to have the most with it. And I think where Sandor is concerned, he did that damn thing. And I absolutely love that scene.
See, this is why AK is going to be killing it at the panel at Con. And if y'all have not heard, AK will be at the panel at Con. So if you're going to Con of Thrones, check her out, show her all types of love. But perfect example why she's up there. You know what? While she was talking, it reminded me that out of all the people where I'm saying like they get stabbed, and I'm like, really, they're still moving around. I never questioned the mountain like getting stabbed so many times. He got stabbed in the eye. Now we have to remember, a giant got stabbed in the eye and died, and the mountain got stabbed in the eye. And I was just like, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, he'd still be alive. I just think that's funny. Elamar, what did you think about the whole Cleganebowl? And I'm also with you. It didn't matter if they did give us the Cleganebowl or not. I wouldn't cared, but I still enjoyed it. But Elamar, what did you think?
Oh my gosh, like I agree with both of you. I'm not sure what Manara has to say about this, but I'm just, because I haven't heard her opinion yet. But as far as seeing it, I would have been fine without it, not knowing what it has actually become, but seeing it right now, I want to keep it. I want to keep that memory. It was amazing. And as far as the shots and the music, like, ladies, can we just agree? I mean, we're agreeing that we're enjoying it because we're talking about it. But oh my freaking Lord, the views. And I know it's like, oh, cliche, dragon flying. I don't give a fuck. I enjoyed it. There was Sandor, and there was the mountain, and there was a fucking dragon blowing fire over there. I was like, holy freaking hell, like, what else can I ask for? Mountain, fire, staircase, no roof, dragon, fire. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You can stop it right now. I loved it. And first of all, it happened. Great. Fire. Awesome. The surrounding, even better. Staircase, the whole, Star Wars, right? Like up, who has the higher ground? Mountain had the high ground. He didn't even have a sword, and he was, doing the thing, protecting. Oh my God, like, the hound, and I do call him a hound because I treat it as, carry the thing, as an honor, and it won't. I know I'm not even paraphrasing right now, but it will not hurt you. He is the hound. Dogs are, your best friend. There's no shame in calling him the hound. He is the hound to me. He is Clegane. He is Sandor. He's everything. There's no shame in that. That was amazing. And when he was laughing, like, he was stabbing him, and I'm like, yeah, you're stabbing him, but it's not doing anything because he's dead. You cannot kill death. Like, how can you kill him? And he's just laughing, like, okay, he's not gonna die. It was amazing. The idea that, yeah, I knew that he's gonna die by fire. I didn't know that it's gonna be that type of fire. He didn't technically die because of the fire. He probably got smushed when he died, when he landed. But diving into that fire, diving into those flames, I don't even know if Sandor knew that he's gonna basically have the same view as we did, him flying over into those flames and disappearing. But he knew he's gonna die with his brother. He, as the hound started, the minute he got burned, the minute his brother scarred him for life. So it's sad that his entire life he had that vengeance on his mind, and he either felt strong enough or he found a reason why to kill him, more than just his revenge, because he knew he's the undead guy and he has to be stopped and nobody can. I actually would not like if anybody else made that final plunge with the mountain. Nobody else deserved it in a way. So Hound and a mountain dying together, I loved it. Now seeing how it has basically concluded, I would love to keep it. I would not, as an editor, I would not edit it out. I would keep it. Um, yeah, I loved it. It was fine. It was it was great. I yeah, that's why I give it 9 out of 10. Not anything less.
Good point. Beauty Queen, what did you think about the Cleganebowl?
So I don't really have anything else to add. I think Elamar was spot on. And I agree also with you and AK that I could have gone either way whether I saw it or not. But I was glad that they put it in there. It was good to see. Again, I agree with everything that LMR said. The only thing that I would add is I really liked the scene with him and Arya before he went, and I was glad that they closed that arc between the both of them before he went off, because he already knew he was going to die. I guess it was just a matter of how was that death was gonna come about, and I'm glad he got resolution. And yeah, I agree with AK that it was a good death.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late. I wasn't even expecting the stream to be this long, but as always, we talk too damn much, and that's good. Don't get me wrong. So if you guys want us to keep going, to continue this with another stream at another time, just write in the comment section once the video uploads, and we'll get to it. But we definitely got to get out of here. But I really enjoyed this convo. I love having LMR on here with us because it was just dope. So we're about to get out of here. But LMR, let them know where they can find you and if you have anything upcoming.
Thank you, thank you so very much for having me. Sorry, again, echo. I cannot process two things at once. I'm like a goldfish sometimes. It's been amazing being here again. This kind of helped me with my the whole thing about Con and not seeing you. I mean, I know, I'm a horrible at goodbyes. I'm telling you, I hope you can make it to Nashville. Seriously, girl, I hope you can make it to Nashville. As far as finding me, right now, currently, what are we? Today is what, Tuesday? Well, no, one Monday, I think. Whatever day, Tuesday, whatever day it is today. It's been crazy. So I do have a stream coming up with Marie from Game of Theories with Marie this Thursday. You can find us on her channel. We're gonna be discussing this episode. Normally we do that either on my channel or we're switching to Marie's channel. So this week for episode 5, we're doing Game of Theories with Marie on her channel. Following week for episode 6 is going to be on my channel. Other than that, I basically am crazy busy with life, so I cannot stream as much as I would love to as I used to do. So for now, comment sections if I can. I am not able to catch all the streams I want to catch because it's just life is being life and not letting me do Game of Thrones as I would like to. But again, thank you. It's been a pleasure being here. I'll yeah. So my love to you. Thank you for having me.
Always, you fit right in. It was all love. Beauty Queen, let them know where they can find you and if you have anything coming up.
Y'all can find me on ManaroGeekTV here on YouTube, and you can find me streaming with these lovely ladies at any point given time. Um, I am working on the last few of the chapters for the summarized chapters of the reread that I'm doing. It's just taking me a little bit of time to finish it up and edit it, but hopefully before the end of the year. I know, I'm sorry. That might be doing a bit much. Maybe before the end of June, I should have them all up. Yeah, but again, you can always find me streaming with these lovely ladies. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and hanging out with us. Thank you for engaging in dialogue because it makes this a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. Um, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.
Man, I love my beauty queen. She all sleepy and everything. I can hear it. AK, where can they find you? And let them know about Con too.
Yeah, word up. Yeah, like T was saying, I will be on a panel at Con of Thrones. Not sure why, Teflon thought that, people would want to listen to my random ramblings, but I appreciate him. Shout out to Teflon for putting me on that panel. He will be hosting that. It will be me and a couple other folks with him as well. You can find me on my channel, Alicia Kingston, on YouTube. I have been doing live reactions while the episode is airing since last season. And I've done all of this season, so you will catch me on Sunday at 9 p.m. on my channel. If you want to watch with me and chat about the goings-ons, then come through. And you can always find me with my Mad Queens. Always, depending on everyone's schedules, our QA / prediction session will be either like Friday or Saturday. That's usually when we can fit those in. We'll figure it out. So, watch your notifications. Let's see. I don't think I have anything planned, any collaborations, except for one coming up with Johnny Be Crazy. It'll be another installment of They Deserved It. On Saturday, actually 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, me and JD will be discussing Book 2, Part 1 of the Land series by Alaron Kong. If you haven't heard of this book series, go check it out. It's pretty freaking awesome. If you like all the high fantasy, and if you're a fan of like RPG video games, this is the perfect book series for you. So go and check Alaron Kong out. He actually happened to see the discussion for book 1 that me, JD, and Lav did, and he sent us all free t-shirts for chatting about the book. So I thought that was fucking awesome. When do you ever do things and like the author of the book sees what you're talking about? I thought that shit was cool as hell. I've been geeked about it for like months now. Besides that, I don't think I have anything major coming up. I'm planning on doing some things for Halloween, but that's months in the future. So, I hope y'all stay tuned, and it's a pleasure being here with T-Baby and the ladies always. It was great meeting you, LMR. Thank you again for these awesome direwolf earrings that I have. If y'all were wondering, LMR made these,
Same
and
here.
she was very kind to gift me and the Mad Queens and my Lady Love Aaron Water set of these, and it was just freaking great. It was a blast meeting everybody at the con. So, come through next Monday or Tuesday. We'll be back again with Sam R09 talking about the finale, and I can't wait. I'll try to keep my spirits up because y'all know this episode kind of drained me. So that's that.
Definitely check her out. Please, please, please don't short yourself. Check her out at Con. I know she's nervous, but she's going to kill it because she talks about this stuff all the time with us, and it'll be just like y'all talking and kicking it in the streams. So definitely, if you're going to be at Con-a-thons, check her out. As far as when the next stream is, like AK says, it's going to be probably Friday or Saturday. I don't know whose channel. I'm not going to lie to you. And AK, I'm not sure if you're hosting the final
either me or you. I'll do it since we've been switch hitting like most of the
it doesn't matter if we'll discuss it. Y'all will know. It's either going to be on my channel or it's going to be on AK's channel. Either way, y'all going to be with us ladies, and we're going to be ripping and talking and doing a bunch of stuff. And remember that Sam, who's our girl in the chat, she's going to be in there. Y'all know we're going to talk crazy. Definitely check out AK's I call it her viewing party that she has. I like to get on it. Even if you don't like watching Game of Thrones with people, you can just slide in there, right 10 minutes right before, get your little chat on, and then dip out, and then, right 10 minutes after talking, and They have a good time. Every time I join, I always have a good time. So ain't nothing really happening on my channel. I'm just going to keep doing Game of Thrones. And like everyone else has been saying, I will do other shows because it seems like everyone just loves to talk about different shows. So let me know what you guys are into. And I'm pretty sure me and the ladies will get into that stuff and we'll talk because we're like into a lot of different things. But I enjoyed talking to all of you guys. You made my day. So, oh, I'm forgetting. For my girl Timo, you know I love you. Nana and boo boo, Jamie's dead. Ha!